Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
You know, it's always easy to do a radio show, a talk show, when there's nothing going on in the world. There's no movement around scheduling, conference realignment, the coaching rumors, transfer portal. There's nothing to talk about on a show like Duck Insider ever. So when I get up every morning, I go, all right, what are we going to fill the show with every day? Well, the truth is that that's not happening very often. There's so much to talk about. And look, we've been saying this from the start, that it's always a good day to be a Duck, and I see some of the comments that it's a great day to be a Duck. We're just here in the studio talking about how it's a great day. Well, I'm here to tell you it's always a good day to be a Duck, and Coach Lanning really did release a really awesome video for all of us to enjoy this morning, didn't he?
Forward. Who has goals and aspirations? Raise your hand up. All right, everybody got goals and aspirations. You know how you get those? You be the best where you're at. And that's how you reach goals and aspirations. That's how great things happen. It's not about worrying about the next thing. It's about worrying what's right in front of you, 6 inches right in front of your face. I want to remind you guys what that means. You guys that just got here don't know them, right? But it means something to be an Oregon Duck. Everybody makes what? They all make commitments to things that they're going to do. A lot of starters. The world doesn't have a lot of what? Finishers. We're finishers.
I want to be here in Eugene for as long as Eugene will have me. This place has everything that I could possibly ever want. There's a little bit of a problem in society today with people looking for what's next and where there's an opportunity. And the reality is, you know, the grass is not always greener. In fact, the grass is damn green in Eugene.
You know, on the show, when people come into the studio, we've kind of, I don't even know how this happened, developed a tradition of a slow clap, like when people enter the studio. I just would like everyone in the studio today, Knight's here, Cade's here, Soph's here, Scott's here. Can we just slow clap for that? I mean, just well done. Coach Lanning, on behalf of all Duck fans, we loved it. The grass is damn green in Eugene. I can confirm. Awesome day to be a Duck. Coach Lanning, first team meeting of 2024, and he said that quote that you heard at the end of the video that was released this morning. He said that quote like weeks ago. You know, coaches have told me over the years, and I've heard this from a number of different people, that if you're succeeding, then assistant coaches are going to leave your program and go be head coaches because everybody wants a piece of the successful pie. Well, when your head coach has built a program in 2 years that's winning 12 games in a football season, competing in a New Year's Six Bowl after his second year as a head coach, well, there's a lot of success around the Oregon program, which means that big-time programs, when coaches retire or there are openings across the country, if you're good, you're going to get mentioned in those conversations. It is the ultimate compliment to be mentioned in those conversations. And you know how they say imitation is the best form of flattery? Well, this feels like that to me. You know, everybody wants a piece of what Oregon has. And so to Dan Lanning, again, everybody join me again. Just bravo, sir. Bravo. Just well done. Video's great. The grass is very green in Eugene. Oh, it's a good day to be a Duck. I'm Joey Mack. There's nothing to talk about today. But truthfully, as a person who has been through a few other coaching transitions in multiple sports here at the U of O, we've been on the other side of that where everyone's kind of wondering, hey, what's going to happen? Where do the Ducks go from here? What do you do? Isn't it just amazing, though, the way that the social media rumor mill just turns? You know, I've said on the air, and I've even had this conversation with Rob Mullins, that nothing moves the needle more than conference realignment. I don't know if that's true, actually. I don't think anything moves the needle more than the coaching rumor mill. And it's always right around this time of year, right? Because you get the NFL regular season coming to a close. You get NFL job openings. If you're successful in college, maybe that'll translate to the pro level. Players, coaches, same conversation point. Then you go a step further, and if there's some big-time openings around college football, it's like, well, what do you do? Where do guys go? What's going to happen in the coach? I actually think that the coaching rumor mill might be more crazy than conference realignment. And look, I won't sit here and pretend to have any insider knowledge of how these things work, but I will just say this. As someone who works in broadcasting, as someone who works in news, if you want to call it that, people are always monitoring, covering things. I even heard Ian Rappaport say the other day, he's an NFL insider for NFL Network, that he would really prefer if these things wrapped up quickly because he doesn't then have to be worrying about covering them. Well, as someone who works in that industry and also works for the University of Oregon, I sure appreciate a head coach like Coach Lanning who just nips it right in the bud. Who knows what the heck goes on? But what I appreciate is that it's just the grass is damn green in Eugene. Isn't that just refreshing sometimes? For people like us that are always fans, we are fanatics. It's where the word comes from. We're always wanting the Ducks to succeed. But just there's all these rumors, all this noise, everything, just all this stuff going on. And you just get someone that looks you right in the eye, directly addresses it, and just, what a concept. I mean, what a concept. Isn't that nice, though? Like, as a Duck fan, on behalf of all Duck fans, aren't we just sitting here now just like, you know what? Today is a good day. Today's a really, really good day in the Country Financial Studio. Also on today's show, Nils Schyllander is going to join us. I have one very important question for the Oregon men's tennis head coach, and that is who he was rooting for in Monday's football game. I know the answer, but I need to ask him because I want to hear what he says on the air. He's also going to bring Matthew Burton, a freshman addition to the men's tennis team. They start competing next week. Dana Altman, men's basketball practice continuing as the Ducks. Normally, this would be a game day, but the way the schedule falls, the Ducks don't have a Thursday game. But I'll tell you what, look, I said yesterday, we're going to know a lot about Cal based on what happens in that Colorado game. They came back from down 20 and beat Colorado last night. Cal did. Colorado's budding top 25 team. Cal's figured something out. After losing like 20 straight conference games, they've now won 2 in a row against UCLA and Colorado. They're in town Friday at Matthew Knight Arena. And, you know, it wouldn't shock me if just at some point during Saturday's game at Matthew Knight Arena or Friday's women's basketball game or Sunday's women's basketball game, maybe all three, it wouldn't shock me if just some spontaneous celebration of being an Oregon Duck broke out this weekend. It just feels appropriate. We haven't had an athletic event this week with classes starting, and now, I don't know. I mean, what if people showed up at Matthew Knight Arena and it was just like a Duck party? That would be fun. Cal's not a bad opponent, though. I'm telling you, they're better than their resume would show. But I just have this feeling that there's going to be some fun shouts at Matthew Knight Arena this weekend. I'll just leave that there for everybody. So we're going to talk with Dana Altman, going to talk with Brennan Rigsby, also a little bit from Coach Graves as he sat down with Chris Clayton for our Tip-Off Tuesday this week. How's everybody feeling today, though? Like, honestly, Coach Schyllander will join us here just coming up in a little bit, but I know the comments, I'm sure, are good today. Who knows what the heck goes on, but I just appreciate the directness. As somebody who is, and the 3 interns who are here in the studio, I think, will nod and laugh when I say this. As somebody who is very direct, is that fair? They're not saying it as confidently and loudly as I thought they would, but thank you. So as somebody who operates that way, I just appreciate in today's world of the way things work with media, just good stuff. It's just a good day. All right, well, we'll get to some of your comments and questions. I have a feeling that everyone's just excited. It's just a happy day. And it is. We're going to come back. Nils Schyllander's here! All right. Quick timeout. The important question for the men's tennis head coach here at Oregon. It does relate to a rival. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We are back in the Country Financial Studio, Joey Mack, and I'll tell you what, this is a fun conversation every time we get a chance to. Nils Schyllander is here, folks.
Yeah, I am.
Hey, I said when you came in, Coach, like, we picked just a great day to have you on because, one, there's some football conversation that's always fun around everywhere, but
I thought we were at tennis school.
We are.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
we are. So, but I have to ask you, and before we talk with Matthew Burton, who's here as well in the studio, I really am curious about this, Coach. Who were you rooting for in the football game on Monday?
Well, I wasn't really rooting for anyone, but I was definitely rooting for Washington to lose.
Got it. Yes.
And I couldn't watch the game until people started texting me and said, Washington are down big. I turned it on just to enjoy it. And then they start coming back, so I stopped watching again.
So
true story.
So you didn't watch? Were you planning like I'm not going to watch it, or were you guys at practice? What was going on?
I didn't want to waste a Monday evening when I could do other things than watching Washington football.
Fair. Okay, good. Well, there is nobody in the athletic department that believes in the Oregon-Washington rivalry more than Nils Schyllander. So I got to tell you, like, I was wondering how you were in the 2 losses to Washington this year. Like, what is the Oregon superfan?
No, that's not good.
Okay.
I was not in a good place.
Okay. Well, me neither.
But you know what? We will set that straight.
I like that. And the Washington dates for your schedule are?
We on the road March 6th, and then we play them back at home in April.
Did you notice how fast he had that just ready and
Well, I think Bert over here knows too. Everybody knows in my program, right?
Every practice we hear at the dates, every single one.
So actually,
yeah, every practice we know this is the dates we've got to be ready for.
So I knew that you loved the rivalry, but I didn't know it was quite like that. So that's something. Yeah. By the way, the voice that you're hearing. So are you Matt? Are you Bert? Or are you Matthew Burton?
Any of the above. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's your name, so now we got.
Let's go with Bert.
Bert.
It sounds good.
Okay. Well, officially on the roster, Matthew Burton, but Bert does sound good. I mean, I like that. Look, in sports, you have to have a one-syllable nickname.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
And don't tell me that it's not intimidating.
Agreed.
You know,
yeah.
Who are you playing? I'm playing Bert. Yeah, I'm playing Bert.
Like, who's serving to me right now? Bert.
Yeah.
That's something. Okay, so we have a tradition. I gave just a warning, but you don't know what it is. No. But now Coach knows, and Coach has seen some good ones and some not so good ones over our tenure. So we have a tradition because on the show we always tell our 2-minute life story for somebody who comes into the studio for the first time. And here's why I do this. I'll just give you a little preface. I could sit here and read your bio, read off everything, tell people about you, but I don't know what's important to you about your life story. So you have 2 minutes. Yep. The goal is, we're competitive, get as close to 2 minutes as possible. Yep. So if you go over, that's fine. Just get as close to 2 minutes as possible. Your 2-minute life story of Matthew Burton. Bert, ready, set, go.
All right, well, starts off a young boy living in Perth, Western Australia, born and raised there, went to high school there, primary school there, just playing lots of tennis as a kid, playing other sports as well, like Australian football, bit of cricket.
Okay.
He looks like a footballer, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
Australian football is a little bit different as well to American football, but... Yeah, did that, played tennis, travelled around a little bit, mostly just around Australia. And then I graduated high school and ended up going to uni for a year in Perth, studied there, which was good. It made me really realise that I don't just want to stay the rest of my life in Perth and that I wanted to kind of get out and explore. And so decided to look for colleges and ended up here at Oregon and been having the best time here, it's been awesome, and let me go back actually into detail so I know I need to get these 2 minutes. I'm going to get exactly 2 minutes, by the way. Yeah, I've been timing this. Yeah, well, when I'm home, I like to catch up with mates, go camping. I'm more of a country boy, I guess, when I'm home. I go for a bit of a surf every now and then with my mates. We even try to play a few golf rounds together, to be honest, and I don't play other kind of sports other than tennis and a bit of golf at the moment, but yeah. How am I going for the time? Let me know.
Minute 32. Look, so here's the thing.
What did Quinn get? Because I heard he was on here last time.
Shoot, I'm gonna have to go back and check. I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't even know if he did this.
So here's the truth, okay?
Yep.
When you're a student athlete and you're 18 to 22 years old, it's hard to fill a 2-minute life story.
Yeah.
When you're a broadcaster or a head coach and you're a little older, it's easier to fill the time, right? So as you can imagine, Coach Schyllander, you could fill 2 minutes, right?
I could fill 2 hours.
Exactly. So good work. Minute 32 is pretty good, though.
Thank you.
It's so that you're not going to end up on the leaderboard, but that's all right. We'll get another effort at it. All right.
Oh wow.
The minute 59.
Minute 59:56.
Yeah. That was Dave Butler, one of our old volleyball coaches, who hit that, and then Casey Rogers 2:03:86 from football.
That's pretty good. That's still over though. Once you're over, you should be disqualified.
See, I disagree. I think it's got to be as close to 2 minutes as possible.
I think too.
That's like Price is Right rules. If you go over, you're out.
You should be.
All right. Well, I was just going to say Casey's also like a grandpa in college athletics because he's 25 years old now. So, give you another few years and you'll be there. So why'd you choose Oregon? Bert, what was it about the Ducks?
It came down to really the facilities, the coaches, the teammates, such a nice location as well. And I was really trying to look for something on the West Coast because my dad does a bit of work down in California. Cool. And yeah, they were the most important factors for me, and finding somewhere safe where, I could feel like I could, be around good people and have a good time. So that was my my main things. And of course, the tennis is unbelievable here. Like top few in the nation. It's unbelievable. I enjoy just going out and practicing every day. It's a lot better than when I'm back home.
How different is it, if it is at all, stylistically? Like coming from Australia to collegiate tennis in the United States, is it different? I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely different. In Perth, we're more based, like, there's not as many people around, so you're playing the same people all the time, and you don't get to kind of explore or play anyone new or anything. And so that, in terms of that, there's definitely, a big difference. But also facilities and, the coaches, it's a whole new lifestyle here compared to back there.
Well, now I'm going to put Coach on the spot since you're sitting here.
Yeah.
What was it on the recruiting trail that you were like, we want that guy?
Well, I mean, number one, he's a great guy and fit great into our culture. I've heard many good things about Bert from people I value,
right.
And the results speak for themselves as well. Started playing really well towards the end there in Australia, picking up big wins and showing that he was ready for this level.
Hey, see, that's a heck of a compliment. I'm always curious about this too. Like as you ramp up to a season, I always hear coaches talk about like peaking at the right time, Coach.
We got to peak for 4 months.
I was gonna say your guys' schedule is so long, and then you also have the fall competitions. And how do you balance that as a coach and like having that build up, the ramp up, while getting the rest in that's needed?
Yeah, I think the fall we build the bodies a lot and learning what college tennis is all about, and you got to get physically strong and fit to stay injury free and be able to do. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So we spend a lot of time just working on their games and their bodies in the fall, and now it's basically competition every day.
Right.
Getting ready for the matches coming up starting next week.
So how was the fall heading into the matches?
It was good. We didn't play as many events as we usually do just because we had 6 newcomers.
Right.
We kind of had to break them in and spend a lot of time together as a group and not send 3 people here, 4 people there. We try to do more in-house. And I thought it was a productive fall, and I feel like we're all on the same page right now.
What was the learning curve like in the fall for you?
Yeah, it was good. Like, definitely the training load was big, and like I learned a lot of new things, like especially from the matches I played.
Yeah.
And like I've just learned that I just need to be a lot tougher, I guess, around here compared to back at home. It was more easy-going kind of playing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a competition, right? Like it's definitely a competition level. So heading into next week, I'll start with just kind of a roster assessment for fans, Coach. I mean, you've got a couple returners that are big time, and then the 6 newcomers that you alluded to.
Yeah, and we had a few guys that had their freshman seasons last year, like Vlad Briazu and
right.
And stuff. So, I mean, there's some experience there, but there is a lot of new faces, and I can tell you this, I know we're very talented. But only time will tell how good we are, because this is going to be new for the majority of the roster. Don't really know. You can talk about it, but you don't really know what a college match is like.
Yeah.
And the grind unless you've been in it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what college was like until I was in it, and that's just not even the student athlete part. Like, that's an adjustment too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Nah, like from when I did a university in Australia, it's nothing like it.
Really?
I prefer this so much better. It's just like the athletics here are unreal, and like training and everything. All in Australia, like university is just only academics.
Yeah.
So you don't get to do any athletics with the universities.
Right. Personal question. I understand that your brother is a heck of a tennis player also, right? So what's the competition level like in the family in the Burton household?
It gets quite competitive. I have an older sister as well who just chirps. She she talks a big game, but she doesn't walk it. And my younger brother also. We talk a lot. We give it to each other, and so I've still got him covered though.
Yeah,
you sounds like Quinn and Luke all over.
I was just gonna say that. Like, so younger brother Cameron, right?
Yeah.
A U14 Australian champion. So pretty good competition level.
Yeah. No, it's good. When I'm back home, I train a bit with him as well. So it's really nice to have someone around that's close to me that I can, whenever I feel or whenever we're ready, we can just jump out in court. It's really nice to have.
You hit a point, like we're kind of joking about, like with Coach, like with the brother connections, but seriously, like that's had to have helped the growth of a lot of people that you've recruited, Coach, when you have that competition level in the household growing up.
It's nothing like competing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's competing at its purest form.
Well, you want to beat your brother all the time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't let him ever win. Yeah,
that's good.
It won't happen.
Has he ever? You can say no.
I don't think he has, but even if he did, I don't think I'd ever admit it.
But he'll get a point every now and then, right?
Will.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah,
like that makes sense. Matthew Burton joining us. Bert, we're just going with that now. I mean, you're going to be Bert forevermore. Nils Schyllander with us. Eastern Washington on Friday, January 19th. My birthday, by the way. So a nice birthday present would be a win. A couple wins, actually, playing multiple tournaments, Coach. I'm always fascinated the way, talking about like body workload. You often have to do that, like multiple matches, different opponents in a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think next Friday is perfect. We have a lot of newcomers. We got Purdue coming in Friday night, and Coach Young has done a great job with that roster. He's in his second year and has overhauled the whole team, and they're going to be very legit. It's not going to be an easy match for us. We're going to have to be at our best, and to go out on Friday morning, I think it'll be great to get some of the jitters out and hopefully take care of business and going in that more confident in the big match against the Big Ten opponent on Friday night.
Yeah, future conference opponent. That'll be different.
We played pretty much half the Big Ten this year.
Do you? So
they were scheduled way before this happened. We got Nebraska.
I see that. Yeah, I'm looking now.
We got Wisconsin. We got Northwestern. We got
Washington, USC, UCLA,
Purdue.
Yeah, Pac-12 championships in Ojai again, though. You'll enjoy that one more time.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm gonna miss that place. It's special. I don't know if the tournament's gone on for like 110 years or something like that. It's crazy.
Where's the Big Ten tournament?
I don't know.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even
We'll deal with that next year.
I was going to say Ojai versus wherever in Big Ten country. We'll see. But I think it's always fun when you get to this time of year. At least for me. Like I don't know how it is for you all, but because there's so much going on, there's so much camaraderie around the sports. Like now that you've kind of been absorbed into it, I'm curious. Like, you're rooting hard for football, for basketball, like for everything else. Like, what's that been like for you?
It's been awesome. Just like the atmosphere at every sporting event is just unreal. Like, to go to a football game, every single seat's been taken. And even like if I go to basketball, volleyball, like it was just unreal to see like the whole school get involved.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a heck of a compliment. What did we miss, Coach? Anything else fans should know?
No, come on out. It's big time tennis. It's very high level. Heck, Quinn played in the U.S. Open this year. Now he's going to play in the Student Tennis Center.
Yeah, how about that?
It's very high level. Come out and watch and support and cheer on the boys, and hopefully we can make this into a very special year.
Love it.
And Bert. Come out and watch Bert.
That's right.
Come out and watch Bert.
That's right. Hey, so what's the competition like in practice? I mean, I'm not going to ask Coach to give the lineups, and I'm sure you guys are still sorting things out. But what is it like in practice?
No, it's good. It's competitive. We all get quite rowdy and amongst each other, so it's good. I like how every practice is still extremely competitive. Like when we step on the court, it's game on.
Coach and I have talked about this before. I didn't think I was going to ask you this, but since you brought up the rowdiness, I'm going to. College tennis is maybe like the one, well, I don't know if it's the one, but it's one of the only where it's like encouraged to be a little more rowdy around a tennis court.
It's fun.
How do you see that? Like as someone coming in now to collegiate tennis?
It's definitely different. Back in Perth, Australia, we don't get that involved, I guess, into it, but it's definitely something I'm going to have to learn and adapt to, and I want to try implement it in my game a bit more, which I think it'll be good as well to just be more like stingy, more gritty.
That's sweet.
Kind of,
Well, and even like just fans being loud, like there's no one on a microphone saying quiet, please.
No.
Has that ever happened at the Student Tennis Center? You ever had to quiet the crowd down?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All the time, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, or?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, that's what makes the environment makes the experience for the student athletes, and it's not a symphony, it's a rock and roll show.
Right. I think you want to get close to that line, right? Like if you're a fan of the Student Tennis
know the
Center,
line, but get up to it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Nils Schyllander, Matthew Burton with us. Men's tennis season is here next Friday in town in Eugene, Student Tennis Center, Eastern Washington and Purdue starting it off on Friday. Coach, thanks for being here. And,
I appreciate you, buddy.
One more time, what were those dates for the Husky matchups?
Well, March 6th, we're up there, but in April, the conference counter is here. I kind of disappoint you. I don't know.
April 13th,
There
2
you go.
p.m.
I was going to say second weekend of April. That's a Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, sometime in there. And then you mentioned a good point that I should bring up. The one that counts in the conference standings is the one that's in Eugene, but you often go play up there, and you guys alternate that.
I mean, they like playing the match just as much as we do, so it's a fun match to play, and we're going to keep playing twice a year as long as schedule allows.
Love it. Nils Schyllander, Matthew Burton, men's tennis. Thanks for being here, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
We're going to get a timeout when we come back. A little bit of basketball. I'm telling you, Cal's better than their resume. They just beat Colorado last night after being down by 20. Talk about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Let's zero in a bit on basketball. Dana Altman with some extra practices this week. He talked with the media earlier this week about the matchup with Cal. And again, Colorado was kicking them last night. Cal came back from a 20-point deficit. They were down double digits at halftime, and they won the game. They've figured something out maybe the last couple weeks. So Cal coming to town Saturday, 5 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Dana Altman on some injury updates. Now, he talked with the media a couple days ago. Maybe some things have changed, but I think it's trending in the right direction. Coach Altman discussing a number of topics here.
Well, it looks like Dante's doing basketball activity.
He did. Well, the big key is how he does tomorrow. He worked a little bit yesterday. He worked a lot more today. Tomorrow's our day off. We'll just have to see how it feels. So we wanted to give it a trial run, and so tomorrow and Thursday will be big days just to see how it responds.
With the longer week for that, do you anticipate if he plays any kind of minute restriction on Saturday?
Oh, I don't know. We don't even know if he'll play. We'll have to see how he responds. Like I said, it was a trial run just to give him a little live action. We played 2 4-minutes and 3 minutes, so we played 11 minutes. He played about 7 of it, so we'll just see how he feels tomorrow.
What do you think about what you did see from him today?
Oh, he's kept himself in good shape. We have underwater treadmills. We have things where we can keep pressure off. Fortunate for those facilities. So he's not in great shape by any means, but he's not totally out of shape. He's watched what he ate a little bit and, did some things. So, no, the 7 minutes he played today, we're really good.
It's Nate's timeline at this point.
Oh, we're still testing. He hasn't been cleared yet, so don't really have one.
Did you think at the time, Dana, going back a month and a half ago, right after the Georgia game, and Dante's out, did you think you'd be able to weather the storm as well as you guys have? I realize you'll be upset about the Syracuse game all season, but that aside, like, that you guys are in this position and
I don't know. You try not to think ahead, and you try not to get pessimistic. You got to be real though. We were small, and Mo hadn't played much, and I didn't know what we had there, and I thought he did a good job. KJ's come along, and I didn't know if that would happen. At the time, we didn't have Jackson. He was out for 4 or 5 weeks there. So, I didn't know. We were kind of banking on Jesse, and then he went out. So, to be real honest, I didn't know what was going to happen. We just came to practice every day with 6, 7, 8 guys, whatever we had on scholarship. And fortunately, Coop's been great. Gabe's been unbelievable. Guys have been good. Our walk-ons have done a tremendous job and given us something to look at every day. But, I didn't know how it would go. We just tried to get prepared. When Nate went down, that was kind of when Dante went down, I thought Nate did a great job the next 2 games, really filling in. But then when he went down, that week in Florida, we just, we wanted to go to more zone, but we really hadn't practiced it enough. He gets hurt on a Friday night against Tennessee State. We're leaving Saturday morning to go to Florida, and that week in Florida, we just didn't guard anybody, gave up 88, 99, and just weren't ready to go. But after we got home and got a few things straight, and then Mo started coming on a little bit, and so the guys have done a good job. But all we've done is just won a couple games. I mean, we have not even the halfway point of the season. So hopefully Nate and Dante can give us a bump here if they can get healthy.
How beneficial do you think it is knowing that you can go to this small ball lineup eventually down the road once Dante and Nate do come back?
No, playing small gives some people fits. We're only a +2 on the boards. I'd like to see that number go way up if we get our bigs back. One of the benefits is we're only averaging 11 turnovers a game. So that's one of the benefits, or should be one of the benefits of going small. It wasn't against Syracuse, but it should be. Shouldn't turn it over quite as much. But you got to play different ways against different teams, and that ability is something that's important. And playing small ball around Dante is different than playing small ball around KJ. Because it really gives us an inside threat yet. So you can really spread the floor with shooters, and we got 3 guys shooting over 40%, and Bam right at 40%. I hate to jinx them, but we're shooting it okay. So playing around Dante, would be an option, or playing around Nate would be an option, small.
Is there a challenge at all to reincorporating those guys based on the way you've been playing?
We've been playing a certain way, and have kind of settled into it. But you guys know, and I know, to be where we need to be, we can't play small ball the rest of the year and be successful. We got to play big teams like Arizona, and Colorado's got some size. Utah's got size. We've gotten away with it. But, to be where we want to be and try to get to where we want to be, going into the season, we had one all-conference player. He was that for a reason. And I'm not saying these other guys haven't played well and have done a good job, because they have. But Dante's still Dante. He's still got 15 points and 60% with getting double-teamed every time he caught it last year, and almost 9 rebounds. And, when we won big games, Dante played well.
Is there something unique, though, about this group that has allowed them to weather this storm?
Oh, they're coachable. They want to do the right things. They've executed some things well. We've made mistakes, but for the most part, they've been easy to work with, and I've done a pretty good job.
When Mo had to take on a bigger role because of necessity, what do you feel like now that you're seeing him in this longer period? That I'm imagining he's overperformed whatever you could have expected when he came here, but what do you think is his optimal load? Like, what do you think you get optimal Mo when Dante's back, and if you get Nate back, like, what is his peak of minutes in production?
Playing a hard 3-minute stretch, 4-minute stretch, that'll vary with foul trouble. Depending on how Dante, we're assuming that Dante and Nate maybe come back, assuming that, maybe just short periods of time where he can really go out there and defend and rebound and, play without, he's playing right now, he's just getting in foul trouble, he's fear of foul, and, he can go out there and play without that fear, and if he gets in foul trouble, I'm swinging away. And he could really be aggressive defensively. I don't know if you remember the Georgia game, but we put him in there just to, double a couple ball screens, because we weren't worried about him fouling, and he did a great job. And so it just allows us to use him in a different way if those guys do get healthy.
First 5 games of the year, you guys are shooting, I think, 59% from the free throw line. It's been 76% since then. Is there anything to that, or is it simply just practice? Kind of, they're finally starting
practice,
to go?
And I just, guys were nervous. I mean, they had a lot of new guys. And Dante didn't shoot him well the first game, and Carrio's struggled, but he's a 70-some% free throw shooter, so I know he'll come back and shoot him better. And it just, like I said, at the start of the year, some guys, just nervous shooting them for the first time. We had freshmen out there, transfers, a lot of new guys. And so Jermaine struggled a little bit. Dante struggled a little bit, which, I think they can shoot him better. So, no, I think we'll be all right there. Again, I don't want to jinx us, but we've shot him well the last 4 or 5 games, and we haven't got there enough, but we've shot him well.
We've seen from Cal and the challenge that they'll pose on Saturday. They've got several guys in double figures, guy averaging 20 and big averaging double-double.
Well, just look at their scores. And they lost 3 games in a row by 1 possession. They've lost 2 in overtime, 1 in double overtime at Butler. Then lost to Arizona State by 2. Beat UCLA by 9 on the road. I mean, yeah, their record's not good, but man, they are close, and now they're getting everybody back, and a little confidence from that UCLA win. We'll have our hands full. They're much better and getting better. They took a bunch of transfers, and they're starting to play better together. And you got a guy getting 20 a game. And they got a number of guys who can shoot the 3, and a couple of them at a real high rate. So, no, we'll have our hands full. I don't have any doubts about that. We're going to have our hands full every night, but we definitely will on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think that Cal has figured a few things out. That's Coach Altman, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Coach Altman getting ready for a Matthew Knight Arena matchup with Cal, 5 o'clock on Saturday. Quick timeout. Going to hear from Brennan Rigsby. 48% from 3 right now, Brennan Rigsby. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 22 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/23.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here in the Country Financial Studio. Heard from Coach Lanning today. Heard from Nils Schyllander today, talking football, talking tennis. Also Dana Altman talking basketball. And then Brennan Rigsby, I'll tell you what. Brennan has put together a tremendous shooting streak. Last year was banged up so many times with his ankle. Never got a rhythm. But coming in a year ago, the report was that Brennan Rigsby could be a dead-eye three-point shooter. 48% is about as dead-eye as you get from three. And he's done it particularly early in games. Like, there's been, 3 of the last 5? Brennan Rigsby's been the guy who's the leading scorer at the first time out. He seems to just get it going quickly. And the way that he's hitting threes, man, it was big this past weekend. Brennan Rigsby talked with the media this week.
It's really encouraging to see him volley out there, but you guys are also in a good place. So is there going to be a challenge kind of reincorporating him and kind of going away from the way you've been playing the last few weeks?
Definitely. Big fella's starting to get back out here, and I think it'll definitely be a little challenging because, we started playing with him, and then we had to adjust again. So it's all about adjustments, but that's just basketball. So
what kind of a weapon, obviously, is he, though, and what kind of a boost can he provide you?
I mean, he's an All-American, so, having one of the best players in the country on your team, that always helps you defensively, offensively. I mean, he's only played one game, but he's averaging 21 rebounds, so.
What was the difference in maybe the team move, locker room move? But like a year ago, you're one of the guys who's out, and you're trying to get by, and there's some wins and some losses, but it's hard to weather that storm and everybody was out. For sure. This year, you guys were down to, in number, basically the same situation, and y'all have weathered it so far. Like, credit to you. So, like, how is it that, other than, yes, you're all shooting better, different opponents, whatever, but, like, what's different? What was different compared to a year ago where being severely shorthanded was such a problem by comparison?
I would say almost last year, it seemed like one week somebody was practicing and then the next week they weren't. So everybody was out of rhythm. Where this year, yeah, we had people go down, but it seemed like when they went down, it was just them. So we had players out there the whole time that could take, they got their rhythm and they kept it instead of, play a couple games, then they're out for 5, play a couple games, out for 5. And, that's just hard to, and then you're trying to play with each other, brand new times, So I think I didn't play with Jermaine till January last year. So, you got a lot of those things, and I think it's just a lot of rhythm.
What have you seen so far from Cal? What do you remember them from last year? I know Coach was stressing about how, they just wanted UCLA and they're going to be a threat.
I mean, they're like a completely different team. Their coach, Madison, he's a good coach. So, they're going to be, coached well and they're going to fight. And I think every conference game is going to be a tough one. You got to fight it out. And so, yeah.
Seems like a different guy leading you guys in scoring like every night the last few weeks. Just how comfortable you guys feel with kind of defined roles and kind of sharing the load that way?
Sure. I think we're just out here. We all know we can score, and I think everybody knows, like, everybody's a good playmaker. And I think we're just trying to play basketball, and whoever's got a hot hand, they got it that night, and, just play off each other.
Do you know going into a game, or do you feel going into a game when you're going to, like, 7 of 7 is hard, it's hard to match. It's like, do you know going in, like, that you're feeling something going into a game like that, or do you feel at a certain point that, like, yeah, tonight's going to be one of those kind of nights for you?
I feel like every game I try to go in with that, and, I think coming off of Washington, I shot it pretty well in that game, and then, the day going into, our shoot-arounds, and then even before the game, I was shooting it well and I felt good. And luckily we had the Nike balls back. Washington, those balls are bad. And so, felt good.
Brennan Rigsby talking with the media this week heading into the matchup with Cal. When we come back, we'll get a little bit from Kelly Graves heading into their 2-game homestand at Matthew Knight Arena coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here in the Country Financial Studio. Earlier on Tip-Off Tuesday, Chris Clayton sat down with Kelly Graves. We won't get to all of it today, but if you're interested in the rest of the conversation, subscribe to the Oregon Sports Network podcast. You'll also get Tip-Off Tuesday in addition to this show, and you can go back on the Oregon basketball social media channels and on the Go Ducks YouTube and watch Tip-Off Tuesday, our first basketball coaches show from Tuesday afternoon. Kelly Graves talking a bit about the week that was, the week coming up with Chris Clayton from Tip-Off Tuesday.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, well, good being here and welcome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
your first show.
That's right. You got back late last night.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 2 a.m. from the trip, so we appreciate you coming in here to talk with us today.
No problem. The voice might not be totally there yet, but yeah, no worries.
So you had the trip to Los Angeles, a couple of terrific opponents at number 2 UCLA and number 9 USC. What stood out to you about those two games?
Well, it's funny. The schedule makers didn't do us a real favor to start the season. So 3 games on the road, including one up in Oregon State last week. Those 3 teams combined were 33-0, I think.
They've only beat each other.
They've only beaten each other, yeah. So it's it was tough. And this LA trip, I'm obviously not very pleased that we lost both games. I think even at full strength right now, they would have been difficult games for us anyway. But, for the most part, I thought we competed. I thought we got better. I thought Sunday we played much better than we did on Friday. And, our team's attitudes are great. And so from that standpoint, I was pleased. We obviously have a long way to go. We're not where those teams are right now, but we continue to improve, which is all I can ask for. And there's going to come a time, and hopefully, the next time we play them, but starting this week, that we're going to be in a position to compete and win games. It was one of those weekends we were just kind of outmatched, I think, in a lot of ways.
And you mentioned the mentality of the team, and maybe your record's not exactly where you'd like it to be, but it seems like the confidence is not really wavering. I mean, you didn't have Chance Gray in the UCLA game, but USC, you're right there and you're battling. And if anything, they've only ramped up their effort level.
Yeah, we got killed Friday night on the boards. I think they had 28 second chance points, which is, just outrageous. And they had 21 offensive rebounds. UCLA did. And we completely turned that around. We rebounded so much better on Sunday against USC. They only had 3 offensive rebounds to the tune of 4 second chance points. An area we really wanted to focus on and get better at, and we did. So to me, those are the little things that I look for. Are we trying to take care of the things that we're not as good at? And so that is what I'm talking about when I say we're improving. Mm-hmm. It did not help at UCLA that we didn't have Chance. They're the kind of team that puts a lot of pressure on the basketball, and that hurt us. We gave up, I think, 13 or 14 points off turnovers. Well, we didn't have our primary ball handler with us, and we just don't have a deep backcourt anyway, once Peyton Scott went out. So, we were at a huge disadvantage, but I think even still our kids competed. I thought that could have been a lot worse. So I was proud of us in that regard. But, it was a tough weekend, and right now we're just not as good as those teams. I'm not saying we can't be later, but, for this weekend anyway.
You play at USC and have a 21-point third quarter. I mean, the offense really came alive, and it's shown glimpses this year, but what kind of steps forward have you seen the offense take this year?
Yeah, well, when we have good quarters, it's not necessarily because we're doing this or that differently. We just make baskets. I think our biggest struggle this year, defensively, we've been on point. I look at the UCLA game. They're a team that averages 95 points a game, and they're, in my opinion, the best team in the country. I've seen South Carolina several times on TV, and now we've played UCLA. I think they're the best, most complete team in the country. Well, they averaged 95 a game. We held them to 75 on their home floor, 20 points below their average. They typically shoot 50% from the field. And look at who they've played. It's not like they're playing a bunch of patsies. They've played a really difficult schedule, and we held them to 40%. So those are little things. As a coach, I'm trying to, encourage our team, say, hey, we can do this. So I thought defensively we were on point both games.
I think there's some good building blocks for this Oregon women's basketball team. But, look, they're still not the deepest team. And I think that being at home, this is a swing weekend for women's basketball. And what I mean by that is it's two teams that both are in need of a win. They're both winless in conference games, Oregon and their Friday opponent in Arizona State. 7 o'clock, 6:30 pregame show with Chris Clayton and Bev Smith. I really feel like you win that one. You go into a noon matchup on Sunday with Arizona. Ducks have played a really tough schedule, have done some good things against those teams. Maybe some building blocks here this weekend. We'll see. Fun show today. Good day to be a Duck. Just great. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis,